In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a men's shirt and turn it into a woman's blouse with pintucks using this as my inspiration. This project is a little more advanced because it involves making a pattern and sewing pintucks, but I like to challenge myself occasionally. For this project, I used a very large men's shirt because I wanted as much width as possible for the pintucks. For reference, this is a men's extra extra large, and I wear a woman's medium or small. Also, you'll need a shirt which fits you well to use as a pattern, or if you have a pattern for a woman's blouse, you can use that instead. So let's get started. I'm going to go over how to make a pattern from an existing shirt, but you can skip this section if you already have a pattern. Place the shirt on a large piece of paper. If you don't have drafting paper, wrapping paper works well too. Fold the shirt in half and align the center fold with the edge of the paper. Trace around the shirt along the seams of the front of the shirt. You can pin or iron the seams for a more precise copy. Tuck the sleeves inside the body of the shirt to draw the curve of the armhole. Once you have the outline, add seam allowance all the way around. I used a 1/2 inch except for the hem where I added 3/4 of an inch. Label the pattern. Repeat the process with the back of the shirt and cut the patterns out. These sleeves are a little tricky to copy because of the gathers. Start by drawing a cross on a piece of paper, making sure it's wide enough for the entire sleeve. Place the fold of the sleeve along the center line on the paper, then trace around the seam. The top of the sleeve is the most difficult seam to trace, and I did it by placing my finger on the top of the seam, then marking that point on the paper below. I started at the underarm seam, and once I got to the gathers, I drew a curved freehand to connect the line to the top of the sleeve. Flip the sleeve over and place the fold on the opposite side of the center line and repeat the process on the other side. I wanted my sleeve to be as long as possible, so I measured the sleeve of the men's shirt from shoulder to placket, which was 14 inches, and transferred that measurement to the pattern. Then I tapered the side seams in by about 1/2 inch and added seam allowance around the entire pattern. Note which side is the front and which side is the back of the sleeve. Add a notch to mark the back and cut out the pattern. To make markings for the gathers, if your original shirt has them, align the sleeves of the shirt with the pattern and mark where they start and end. And the final pattern piece should look something like this. Next, we're going to dismantle the shirt. You can cut if you want, but I wanted to preserve as much fabric as possible, so I seam ripped most of it. I unpicked the pocket, the hem, the side seams, and the sleeves. And then cut off the cuffs so that the sleeves can lay flat. A good way to remove all those tiny threads is with a silicone spatula, a tip I learned from the comments section. So thank you for your comments. The thing to remember about pintucks is to sew the pintucks before cutting the pattern. So I'm only going to trim off the top of the shirt at this point, but I still needed the pattern to determine where to cut the shirt. Place the pattern on the shirt to get as much width as possible and cut off the top of the shirt. Also cut the back of the shirt along the line of the yoke. The distance from the edge of the pattern to the center of the placket is the amount of extra fabric you'll have for pintucks. Mine was 2.5 inches. If you make 1/4 inch pleats every inch. That's 2 pleats for every extra inch of fabric, which means I should be able to make 5 pleats on either side. I'm going to sew the pleats a bit under 1/4 inch, so maybe I'll be able to make 1 extra. To determine how long I wanted the pleats to be, I held the pattern up to my body and made a line a few inches below the bust, then transferred the line to the shirt using a washable marker. Draw the pattern for the pleats onto the front of the shirt. For the folds of the pleats, draw a series of lines parallel to the button placket. I started 1 1/4 inches from the placket and made 5 lines 1 inch apart, plus a few extra, but your measurements may vary. The completed pattern should look something like this. Iron along the fold lines to keep the pintucks neat and even. Starting at the horizontal line, sew along the ironed edge. I didn't back tack because I'm going to fasten the seams by hand later, so I left the thread tails long, but you can back tack if you prefer. Just be aware that the stitches will be visible in the front. The distance of the stitches from the edge will determine the size of the pintucks. Mine were just under 1/4 inch. My presser foot has an indentation to use as a guide, but you can also mark your presser plate with a piece of tape to keep the distance consistent. Sew along all the folded pleats. Iron the sewn pleats and check if the size of the shirt is the same as the pattern. I had about a 1/2 inch extra, so that meant I was able to add an additional pleat to make 6 on either side. To secure the stitches by hand, pull both threads to the wrong side of the fabric. Thread them both through the same needle, then sew in a loop going through the last stitch of the seam holes 3 or 4 times. Make a knot in the back and cut the threads. I also sewed a seam along the bottom of the pleats so they would stay flat. Place the 2 front halves of the shirt on top of each other and align the pattern. Watch the top button placement. It's a good idea to cut the fabric about 1 inch or so above it. I made a mistake here because I did not compensate for the overlap of the placket. What I should have done was move the pattern a 1/2 inch from the edge and cut straight across the placket. So keep that in mind if you try this. Trace around the pattern piece, then cut out the fabric. Fold the back of the shirt in half and cut it out using the back pattern piece. From the leftover scrap from the back, cut the sleeve binding by making 2 strips 1 1/4 inches wide. To determine the length, measure the widest part of your arm and add a few inches so you can pull the sleeve on comfortably. Then add 1 inch for seam allowance. For reference, mine were 1 1/4 inches wide by 12 inches long. From the sleeves, cut the new sleeves as well as the bindings for the neck. Place the sleeves on top of each other with the plackets lined up, then cut the new sleeves with the pattern placed towards the side. Transfer the markings for the backs and the gathering sections to both sleeves. For the neck binding, cut 2 strips 1 1/4 inches wide from the diagonal edge of the sleeve. Then cut one end at a right angle. The first thing I did was to stitch down the pleats as close to the raw edge as possible so they stayed nice and flat. Next, we're going to sew the shoulder seams and side seams of the front of the shirt to the back. This fabric is somewhat sheer, so I decided to use French seams, but you can use whatever method you prefer to finish the raw edges. If you're using French seams, sew on the right side of the fabric. Otherwise, sew on the wrong side as usual. I'm going to sew as close to the edge as possible to save fabric, but you can give yourself a bit more seam allowance and trim it afterwards if you prefer. Turn the shirt inside out, fold it on the seams, and press. Sew a second seam with the folded edge aligned with the side of the presser foot. Back tack at the beginning and end. For reference, my first seam was about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and the second was approximately 1/4 inch from the fold. Pin the seams down at the top and bottom so they don't get twisted later. There are many ways to attach seam bindings, and if you have a preferred method, please use it. But here's the one I use. Sew the two sections of the binding together with the right sides facing and press open. Align the seams of the binding with the center back of the shirt. The right side of the seam binding should face the outside of the shirt. Pin the binding to the shirt, making sure to leave at least a 1/2 inch overlap at the button plackets. Sew into place. I lined the edge of the fabric up with the side of the foot, so that's just under 1/2 inch for seam allowance. Cut the ends of the binding about 1 inch or so, then trim the seam allowance. Fold the edge of the binding up about 1/4 inch and iron it all the way around the neckline. Fold again, making sure to cover the seam, and press. Pin into place. Sew the end of the binding by turning it inside out and sewing along the edge of the placket. Trim the seam allowance and clip the corners. Turn right side out, make sure the corners are nice and sharp, and repeat on the other side. Turn the binding right side out, then top stitch close to the fold on the right side of the shirt. To sew the gathering stitches on the top of the sleeves, use the longest stitch setting on the machine and sew as close to the edge as possible, starting at the first mark. Leave the ends of the threads long and do not back tack. When you reach the second mark, turn the fabric 90 degrees, make 2 stitches using the hand crank. Turn the fabric another 90 degrees and sew a second row parallel to the first. You can also use a single row, but then the gathers will be a little bit more difficult to control. I'm using a contrasting thread color, but it isn't necessary. I sewed the gathering threads for the bottom of the sleeves as well while I had the machine threaded with this color. Sew along the bottom of the opening, starting and ending about 1 inch from the sides. Sew up the side seams of the sleeves using whatever method you prefer. I used French seams again. Pin the bottom half of the sleeve to the armhole. If you're using French seams, pin with the wrong sides of the fabric facing each other. Otherwise, the right sides should be facing. Gather the threads of the sleeves until the sleeve is the same size as the armhole and pin the rest of the sleeve to the armhole. Sew the sleeves to the shirt. I prefer to sew with the sleeve side up so I can adjust the gathers if necessary. Because this was a tricky seam to sew, I gave myself extra seam allowance. Check the seam to make sure it's okay, then remove the gathering threads. Trim the seam allowances and make sure the seam can move freely, and clip the curves if necessary. Turn the shirt inside out. Fold the fabric away from the armhole and press carefully all the way around. Pin into place and repeat with the other sleeve. Sew the second seam with the folded edge aligned with the presser foot. Back tack when you get to the start. Then check the seams for puckering, which can be an issue with this method. To finish the sleeves, sew the ends of the binding together to form a loop. Press the seams open. Pull the gathering threads until the sleeves are the same size as the binding. Then distribute the gathers evenly. Pin in place with the right side of the binding facing the wrong side of the sleeve. sew the binding to the sleeve. When you reach the beginning of the seam, sew over it and back tack. Remove the gathering threads and trim the seam allowance if necessary. Iron a fold 1/4 inch from the edge of the binding all the way around the sleeve. Then fold it over the seam and pin into place. Top stitch on the right side of the sleeve close to the fold and repeat the process with the other sleeve. To make the hem, starting at the placket on the wrong side of the shirt, turn up the raw edge 1/4 inch or so and iron into place. Continue ironing all the way around the hem to the second placket. Turn up the folded edge again, iron again, and pin into place. Starting at the placket, sew close to the fold, back tack, then sew all the way around the hem to the second placket and back tack again. And that's it, we're done. And here's the result. First, I wanted to show you some close-ups. This is what the pleats look like. They actually have a stretchy quality, which is kind of nice. Also, the French seams look nice from the inside, but there is some puckering around the armholes on the outside. Although this fabric does have quite a bit of polyester in it, which makes it kind of stiff, so that might be part of it too. Sewing the pintucks was actually easier than I expected because they're just straight lines, but they stretch and mold to the body, so it's a great technique for shaping clothes. I definitely learned a few things from this project and hope you did too, and that this inspires you to try your own refashioning project. Thanks for watching and happy upcycling!